I spent a few days at the Pro-Palestine encampment at UC Santa Barbara last week. Here is a short video of my time down there. I had originally been invited to do a presentation on U.S. labor history and its relevance to today. As it turned out, it was a meeting on that issue, plus a presentation by somebody who had spent a lot of time at various different encampments around the country on various issues in recent years. Here are some excerpts from that forum. It started with the speaker who's been traveling the country participating in those encampments.
Around the same time as when the Green Scare started. And the Green Scare started to target the same kind of people that were above ground, people that were like supporting and sponsoring underground actions.
One of the objectives is to sow paranoia and suspicion and have people like accusing each other of being FBI informants, which sometimes is true, but sometimes isn't.
I did have a chance to speak, and among other things, I spoke about a wildcat strike that I had been involved in 1973.
Members just walked off the job on their own. 2,000 members, and we just went from one job to the next, invaded the job, and got everybody to walk off. And so for me, that showed me this is what a union really is. We went on to one job, and there was a carpenter in his car, and I went over to the side window and said, "Hey, brother, you know," he said, "Get the fuck away from my car." And I was trying to talk to him, and he said, "That's it, I've had it." And he jumped out, he was going to swing at me. And I said, "Wait a minute, brother." I said, "Are you getting the 75 cents an hour that you're supposed to be getting?" "No." I said, "So in other words, every hour you're working, you're getting screwed out of 75 cents. He said, "You know what, you're right, get in the car." So I got in the car with him, and he got everybody to walk off the job. So the lesson that I learned, and I think that's very present lesson for today, is if you want to get people involved within their union, get them active in their union, making the union do what it should do, you do it around what unions were first organized to do: better wages and working conditions.
I spoke on the union busting, which actually started in the 1970s in construction, and how the union leadership responded to it.
1969, 20% of the construction dollar was spent on non-union construction. By 1979, 60% of the construction dollar was spent non-union. It tripled in 10 years. So that's where it started. And the union leadership responded by saying we have to help our contractors compete. Well, what that really means is as a union carpenter, I have to compete with you, the non-union carpenter, for who can work cheaper. But that destroys the whole purpose of the union, which is to get rid of that competition.
I concluded with this.
We have to find a way to get the mainstream of the labor movement, like the building and grounds workers, gardeners, and so on here, to get them involved.
On my last day there, I happened to meet this great family that just happened to be passing through. They were actually visiting from my hometown up in Oakland, and they did a short interview with me.
Decided to come up here to Santa Barbara because I went to school here.
Okay.
Back in the 90s, and then we came a little bit more onto the campus and we saw this wonderful encampment, and we couldn't resist to come and show the kids and just kind of help them understand a little bit more what's going on.
I think it has a very strong opinion in what they believe in, and that they don't like just say some things and then they're done. No, they actually like take the time of doing the things that they believe in, so they can actually make a stand in what they think. And I just think it's really nice and important.
What are we all here today to understand? What's going on right now that we're trying to...
There's a war going on in Palestine against the Israelis.
Palestine, you mean?
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
Of the Israelis and the Palestinians.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of people, especially here, are like rooting and trying to protest for Palestine, so they can win the war and everyone can like stay safe.
I'm so proud of their connection to the rest of the world, to humanity, to seeing what's going on and not turning a blind eye because life is just too busy and you need to go get a cup of coffee, or it's just not your problem or not your issue. My children are young, so we're trying to give them as much information as we can so that they can do what they need to do, but also grow up to be mindful adults so that they can continue this.
And Lord knows, with the possibility of Trump getting back in as president, it's going to be, honestly, it's going to be mayhem at best. And so there's going to be all hands on deck.
All hands on deck. Netanyahu will be speaking to Congress on the 13th.
I know,
So we shall see what this war criminal is going to do.